Guys, welcome to Construct Your Life. We got my man, Tim Sweetman, in the house. Hospitality, runs multiple Chick-fil-A's, but more importantly, a man of integrity. You got to jump in. You got to listen to these episodes, part 1 and 2, and y'all enjoy. We'll see you in there.
Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to part 2 with my man, Tim. I'm really going to try to watch my words this time. We got a little inappropriate on the first one. And if you watch the first one, I don't know what to tell you. You talk a lot and things come out and it's like, you try to be careful. But my man, what are we talking about on part deuce?
Let's talk about hospitality. I think.
Yes.
This
See, let me explain something to you. Do we have the rest of the day? Okay. and before we get into the whole concept of hospitality, I'm going to share a story with you. Okay. And I'm going to frame it. And I want you to explain to you that I'm 17, 18. I just turned 18. So understand, I grew up in a rich area. Now I'm in the country. I'm a little fawn in life, okay? Like I'm getting trained by grizzled veterans who shouldn't be role models of any human beings ever. And so it's lunchtime. 3 people are having a business lunch. 3 people pay separate checks. The woman gives me cash. The 2 people leave. The last man says, "What was her bill?" I'm holding the cash in my hand like this. He's standing right next to me. He takes my tip out of my hand to pay his bill. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, what the fuck what just happened? For the rest of the day, I couldn't understand what took place. That is just one story of 9,000 I have that, you wonder why hospitality people are jaded. I could write books, bro. Stories that would blow your mind out of the back of your body on behavior of other human beings. It's also given me a lot too.
Yeah, I think that is one of the pushbacks that I often get when I talk about hospitality is often people from inside that have been jaded or become cynical. And I completely understand it because I've been there. I wrote an essay last year called Spiritual Visions of Waffle Fries. And I talk about this story where we make waffle fries. There's a recipe. Drop the fries in, we hit a button, cooks for a certain period of time. There's actually a lot more to it, but there's a certain amount of salt. There's all these things that we do a particular way. And we had this older couple that would come in every single day, and they would want the fries well done. They would want them cooked longer. And our team said, no, we're not going to do that. We serve a lot of people, thousands of people every single day. We can't cater to every single thing. I mean, we certainly try, but we can't cater to every single whim and everything too. And so they wrote a nasty, nasty letter. It was on my desk. It's somewhere sitting on my desk. I still have it here. And they said, every time we come here, the fries are raw and just all this ridiculous stuff. Just when you're just you're just fuming and you're upset and you're frustrated, those kinds of things that just come off the top. And they were so mad. They apparently yelled at one of my leaders, I don't know. These days, the younger kids always say yell. It probably raised their voice or a little tense. And so I got an email address from them, and I was upset because I'm like, these guys are rating my team. They want these like well done fries, and they're making this big deal out of something that's so stupid. So I sent them an email. I called a bunch of other local Chick-fil-A's and I said, hey guys, these other owners, do you guys do this? And there was 2 guys that said, yeah, we'll do it for them. We're not that busy. Send them here. So I sent them an email. I said, thanks so much for coming in the restaurant, but we're not going to do this anymore. Our policy is this, our procedures, we're going to follow a recipe. But if you want to go eat at listed this Chick-fil-A, you can go there. So it's literally the next week. I'm walking the dining room, I'm sitting down, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this older lady. She's sitting at the table. She goes, "Are you Tim Sweetman?" And anytime that happens, I try not to wear a name tag because people might spit in my food, for any reason. And I go, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "You told my husband and I to never eat here again." I said, "I did not tell you that. Like, there's no way I said that." She goes, "Yes, you did." She said, "I'll show you the email right now. I'll pull up the email. You told us to not eat here anymore." I said, "I didn't tell you not to eat here anymore. I told you that you could, if you wanted to get the fries that way, you could get them elsewhere." By that time, her husband's coming over. He's really frustrated. And he's like, "See, you did tell us that. Here's the email." And they're pulling the email up. And so I'll be honest. These are the moments like your heart rate goes up. And I panicked. And I just said, "Listen, I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore about this. I'm sorry you got offended by the email, but I'm not talking to you anymore." And I walked to the back. And I don't know what happened between those, 30 seconds from walking into the kitchen. And for those who understand a kitchen, you go through the swinging door, the big metal swinging door.
Mm-hmm.
And I walk in there and I look over, and it's like, I say this in the article, it's like in a moment, something came over me and like put me into a trance. And it was like I saw our fries, and I did. I could look over and see somebody scooping up these hot, fresh waffle potato fries, crispy, steam rising off of them. And then I realized like the reason I got into this business was not to make life easier for me or whatever. Like, we literally get into this. Hospitality is about how you make people feel. And I felt like immediately conviction in my soul, like something deep down, that like I needed to go out there and figure out like what was really going on. So I did. So I like got out of it, and it's like, all right, I went out there and I was like, I'm going to go curious. I'm going to be curious for a second. Like, I'm going to stop being offended for a moment about things going my way or who's right and who's wrong. And it doesn't matter what letter they wrote and how that hurt my feelings or upset my team or whatever else. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sit down. So I go out there and I pull up a chair. I go, "Can I sit down with you guys?" And this is like kind of weird couple. They like sit together on the same side, And so I'm sitting down across from them, and I go, and I knew their names. "Hey guys, like, what's going on? Like, help me understand." And we sat there for 30 minutes and we figured it out. I just kept asking questions. Like, I'm not going to say anything about what I think, and I'm just going to let them talk. And I let them talk, and they talk, and they talk. And, and they were, once we got into it, once we got past the surface level stuff, I was able to realize they actually loved going there. They go bowling down the street from us. They're an older couple. They go bowling down the street from us. This is like their special lunch. We had a lot of kind of common friends and all these things too. I was just finding little bits and pieces of things I could kind of resonate with them on. And I finally realized, you know what they wanted? They just wanted hot fries. You know what? That's something we should deliver. And so I said, if you guys just ask for fries with no salt, what'll happen is the freshest fries will come up. We'll put that in the pan. We'll scoop those up. You'll get the first fry out. It won't stop any of our processes at all. And the wife, she goes, "I love that," because I saw, and the reason that came into my mind is I saw she had a bunch of little salt packets. And she said, "Oh yeah, I always add extra salt anyway, so that's perfect. I like doing the salt in each fry." I go, "That's great. We can totally do that." I'm telling you what, Austin, literally from that day forward, they knew my name. I knew their name. And I made it a point of greeting them every time they came in the restaurant. And then I've overheard them a couple weeks later. They're big into baseball. They love baseball. And they're sharing this little story with one of our dining room hosts, and I overhear them say they collect those little miniature bats. They're big in the we live near where the Orioles stadium is, Camden Yards, and so they have all the Orioles bats and all the affiliates except for one. They didn't have that. It was in Virginia Beach area, and I went to the back, got on eBay, and I ordered the bat. Bat came 24 hours later. I was so excited. They go, hey, and then I told my whole team, we're going to give these bats to these people. Like, they're like, the fry people? Like, yeah, we're going to give it to the fry people. Okay. So we did. And I walked over and I said, I just so appreciate you two being willing to like listen to me and me being able to just have that conversation with you guys a couple weeks ago and all of us just be able to, find a resolution here. I got something for you. And I gave them the 2 bats and they cried, just wept in the dining room. And those folks, like it's hard. It gets emotional thinking about it because I mean, these are people, I don't know everything that's going on in their lives. It's not every single element, but for whatever reason, me being able to push aside my ego for just a couple of minutes and listen to them over something so stupid like waffle fries, I was able to like give them a gift, and they are some of our most faithful regulars. They come in all the time talking about how we're the greatest restaurant in the world, and they never eat at any other Chick-fil-A anymore. And so those were special moments, and that started a whole chain of events for my restaurant where I went, we read Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidero, incredible book, kind of inspired from the Danny Meyer frameworks, which is also, Setting the Table by Danny Meyer is another tremendous book on hospitality.
Yep.
And we have worked really hard to try and scale service. And so I went, guys, we're after COVID, too many restaurateurs, too many people in food service went inward, and the customers became the enemy. They became enemy number one. And you can start seeing like the divide that occurred. And I said, we got to fix this. We got to figure this out. We got to get obsessed with customers. And so we struggle with that. I mean, I spent 30 minutes, 45 minutes a couple weeks ago arguing with a guy on the phone about 2.5 swirls of ice cream versus 5 swirls of ice cream, and we didn't get a resolution. There's not a good ending to that story, so I can't win them all.
Guys, let me take a minute to tell you about my buddies over at Lead Hub, Ben and Aaron, the best humans I know. Not only are they amazing at marketing for trade companies, but Ben started his HVAC company in his garage, sold it for multi-million-dollars. So when this guy talks, I listen. When we took over Dietz Mechanical, we had 22 reviews in 22 years. In 7 short months, we went from 22 reviews to 107. We went from a 4.2 to a 4.7. We tripled our Facebook presence, and we tripled our calls. If you're an HVAC, plumbing, electric, landscaping company, and you're looking for a no BS approach to marketing, you're looking for people who have done it before, you got to go to leadhub.net.
Like, look at this. My favorite thing to do in the entire fucking world is to take an angry person and make them happy, make them laugh.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my CSRs, I said, you don't handle angry people. That's my job. I'm not putting you on sacrificial lamb. That's me. Let me handle that.
Yes.
And I literally told a lady, I said, ma'am, let me ask you a question. I said, you're obviously very upset. I said, do you think I got out of bed, I put on my socks, I walked into my office, and I decided, we're going to piss you off today? I was like, that's going to make my day amazing. And she goes, well, no, that sounds ridiculous. I go, well, then what are we talking about here? Mm-hmm. I said, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, but your information's wrong. She goes, well, I got it from my neighbor. And I go, is your neighbor an HVAC tech? Well, no, he's just some guy. I said, well, who are you listening to? Yep. And she goes, well, you're right, 100%. I should totally take my review down. I was like, if you feel like that's what's best, great. But that's not the funniest thing. I get here, I'm a week in. We get a paid invoice with I reported you to the BBB, whatever the Better Business Bureau. How dare your techs come into my house and cost me $40 to wash I have white bath mats down, and they wore their boots in the house. And how dare they? Blah 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 blah. So I call her up, and she's an older lady, and I listened to her, and I said, "Ma'am," I said, "You know what? It was raining outside." I said, "Ma'am, you know what? I'm so upset. I really am." I was like, "It's raining outside." I said, "You know what I'm gonna do? Those two texts." I said, "I'm gonna leave after I get off the phone with you. I'm gonna go into their house with my muddy boots, and I'm gonna stomp all over their couches." I was like, "Because they shouldn't do that." And she goes, "Oh, Austin, stop. That's so ridiculous. Don't do that." And I go, "No, it's the right thing to do. They need to be taught a lesson, these young boys. They need to learn a little manners." And she goes, "You better stop it." Blah, blah, blah. I go, "How about we just take off the $40 it cost?" And she goes, "Oh, sounds great." And so, but come to find out, she told them to keep the boots on. So,
Always.
so you gotta love it, right? But
Yeah,
here's a perfect
yeah.
example. Another quick
Mhm.
one, but all the same. I'm listening. I hear everything, but it doesn't mean I'm engaging. I let my team handle it. This guy comes in, and he is hot to trot. I mean, you got to understand where I'm at. These dudes, they sit in the middle of their home in the middle of nowhere, and they get a little hot and bothered. And if they're over 60, they hate everything in life. Okay, so you got to deal with that. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
he is refusing to pay this $430 bill. Like not only refusing, like hot to trot. Okay, and I finally step in and I say, "Hey, sir, I'm the owner. How can I help you?" He goes, "Well, I'm not fucking paying this bill." I go, "No, I get that. I heard you." I said, "But what's the actual problem here? What are we doing here?" Okay. He goes, "Well, I want this, and I need somebody to come out because I need a new system." Okay, great. So I'll void the bill. We'll be out in 2 hours to estimate your new system. $10,000 sale. And I pulled all my guys aside and I said, "Guys, do you see what happened?" I said, "You're too focused on the moment and not asking him what he wants. And yeah, we ate $400, but we just made 10,000."
Mhm. Yep. Yep. It is so easy, right, to get consumed with like what's right in front of you, and it's and in the hustle and the bustle, at least in the restaurant industry for us, it's
Yeah.
this frustration and I get it. There's so many situations where I have to tell my team like, look, it's not that big of a deal, you know, and I get it. They want to protect the bottom line. They want to protect me. They care about me. They want to, this person's stealing. Okay, if they're stealing, like we'll know and we'll deal with it, and we'll have those conversations and we'll resolve it. Your priority needs to be serving that customer, and you just don't know what the outcome's going to be. You just don't know, and to get like to take their energy and their frustration, this is the most difficult thing to learn. Is like you can't rise to their frustration level. You have what you just described. Like they get hot and bothered. They just get frustrated. They're pissed. They're cursing or whatever. Like you just can't. You can't get to that level. You have to set the tone that's totally different. And we use all kinds of different frameworks, but one of ours is, we call it herd. Because in the restaurant industry,
Okay.
it's herd.
Mhm.
But that's a framework. It's like see if I can actually get it correctly. But I think it's it's something along the lines of like you want to hear the person, right? So you have to have that understanding of like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Then it's you have to empathize with them, which you just did.
Mhm.
Hey, I totally understand. That's really frustrating. That occurs. And then acknowledge. I acknowledge that X, Y, and Z occurred. You got to own it. We forgot to give you your Coke. We forgot to give you a fry. We forgot to give you nuggets, right? Acknowledge it. Then it's resolve it. Okay. Here's the resolution. Here's how we can fix it for you. Or even asking them, how would you like it to be resolved? A lot of times that's really great too. Like, allowing them the choices. And the D, this is the part that's really important. Herd is delight. We always look for an opportunity of like, how can we surprise and delight this person? How can we take it to another level? We made a mistake, owning that. We heard them, we empathized with them, we acknowledged it, we resolved it, but we don't just hear them, want them to feel heard, we want them to feel seen. And so it could be for us, it's like, let's throw a little cookie in the bag, a little brownie in the bag.
Dude,
little note,
1000%.
those kinds of things. It's just the little tiny pieces. It doesn't have to be much. It could even be.
Do you know what my favorite thing?
Another
You ready
apology.
for this? Dude,
Let's do it.
I'm telling you right now, your boy, see, now I got to be in a competition with this guy because I think we got the same. Here's my favorite thing to do. Dude, I'm telling you, this is fucked. I can't give away my secret, but this is gangster. So when I used to travel and network with people, I would travel around a lot in real estate. And I'd stay with couples that I meet online or like we're a mastermind together. And so I hear everything. And so I'm staying at my boy's place with his wife in Michigan for like 3 days. And I heard she wanted a soft ice cream machine. And so I ordered it on Amazon. It showed up an hour after I left. And I was literally on the plane. He goes, "What the fuck?" I said, "I heard that she wanted it." Like, so I'll order a gift and have it show up, and I'll be leaving that morning, and it'll show up that afternoon. Dude, nothing better, dude. Nothing better.
I mean, I don't see any reason. Like, I love that because, I remember the first experience I had going to the Ritz-Carlton and, them asking me questions.
Let me ask you a question. You've met wealthy people, right? You met really wealthy people, right? Right? You've hung around wealthy people. Do you know what wealthy people don't want? More things, right? But you know what they care about? Their kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Listen, and you can do some amazing things. You can do some amazing things.
What is your favorite story of hospitality outside of the restaurant business that you've seen while we wrap up here?
So I would share, this goes back to the first part. Mike Edmonds talked to me. I'll tell two quick ones. So one is his experience. He shared this because he was like, I think this is gonna be amazing, or like it just is inspiring to us. He had been at a hotel. I can't remember if it was Ritz-Carlton or somewhere else. Basically, he shared, with the team, hey, look, we went to this hotel. We were in the lobby. My wife is a big fan of Diet Pepsi or something like that. Whatever hotel chain they were at, they're a Coke brand, And the doorman says, Mr. Edmonds, hey, we'll take care of that for you. He goes, no. Like, I know you guys are a Coke brand. Like, don't worry about it. He goes, no. We'll take care of it for you. And the next night, every night from there on out, there was a case there first night, and then 2 more bottles of like Diet Pepsi every single night after that. That was a small little action. Second one, Mike comes to us. Again, this guy's amazing. Mike comes to us and says, we're going to do the most insane hospitality move of all time. It's kind of like what you just did, but on steroids. He goes, I want to find a way to just give things away in a way that people would just never expect it. So what we did is every year at Chick-fil-A, we have this big, cow mascot, just absurdly large cow. We dress him up as Santa, and you invite all these kids in to come in and sit with Santa Cow. It's like the silliest thing of all time. And you take their photos. Well, we stationed a person there because the Santa Cow can't talk. It's not like the regular Santa. Santa Cow's not allowed to talk. So we had a team member sitting there, and we had 2 team members actually. Because one team member was there facilitating it, and kid would get up in the lap, and they'd take a photo, and the team member would say, "Hey, tell Santa Cow what you want for Christmas." Okay. Well, little did they know, there's another team member writing it down. So at the end of the night, we tell everybody, next week, come in for dinner, free dinner for anybody who is here, as long as you come and pick up your photos. All these families are there. We shut down about half the restaurant. And Mike gets up in front of everybody and goes, hey, everybody, Santa Cow has your photos. He's coming in. Want everybody to be silent. So he's coming in the front door. He's got something else special. Just one more thing for you. It comes around the corner. The front doors swing open. And there's just wagons of all these gifts coming in. And everybody goes, we go to every, we kind of know everybody's names. You start, and we go to every table and said, don't open your gifts yet. And he goes, all right, everybody. So last week, Santa Cow heard every single gift that was asked. Why don't you open up your gifts? We turned the cameras on, and man, I'm telling you, Austin, we had so many people who weren't going to be buying gifts for their kids that year that, their kids are excited. They got iPads, Nintendos. I mean, Mike spared no expense. None. Whatever they asked for, he bought it. And, we had a couple come up to us. And they were like, "Our son's deployed. I have a ton of cash. We're the grandparents taking care of kids. We didn't think we ought to get them this stuff. And then you guys were able to get it for us." You talk about hospitality. You talk about how you make people feel. There's nothing like it.
Amazing.
There's nothing like it.
Ah, that's a restaurant, folks. It's a fucking restaurant, boys and girls. So inject some of this into your life, the little stories that we told in your business and your personal day, and watch how your world around you grows into something amazing, some impactful stuff. So hope y'all got some value from this, and send it to a friend, and we'll see you next time.